You've had a lot to say about Dana White, a lot to say about the UFC in this interview. Give us, an idea. What is some of the good things Dana White's done since you've known him?
Some of the good things Dana White has done since I've known him. How much time you got? God, I don't know. I'll laugh. I'm sorry. He's done some good things. God, what has he done?
He was your manager for a long time. What did he do for you as a manager? What was that relationship like before he turned into Dana White?
You know what? Superstar? Actually, Dana was a good guy back then, man. He wasn't the money hungry, trying to be superstar that he is now. He was a manager, really hush hush. He was in the back, never said much, and he was a cool cat. Now, as this big monster came about, his head got bigger and bigger and bigger. I thought I had a big head. Damn. I guess he's helped the sport a little bit, man. He's been a businessman. That's why they made $100 million on Spike TV, because he says, you know what, if you don't like it, you can go yourself. All of a sudden, I get talked about because I do the same thing, and now I'm a moron? Well, what about you, dude? I've had many conversations with people in Hollywood that have tried to deal with Dana, and they're like, oh, he's a headache. I can't stand that guy. I can't stand dealing with him. And network, same thing. Oh, I can't. People at NBC, people at CBS, I can't stand with that guy. That guy's a moron, man. And they see the real businessman that he is not. He is a wannabe gangster. Yeah. Believe me, when I was younger and I was hanging out with the gangs when I was a kid, he would have been shanked a long time ago. And I'm just saying, man. But no, he's done a little bit. But I look at the things that he's done without Fertitta's money. Pretty much none. I know he sacrifices a lot of time and away from his family, and he's helped the business out a lot. He's awesome for the business. That's why Fertitta's, they praise him, because he's the guy who tells you F you and F this, and if you don't like it, you go somewhere else. And I would love to have that guy. Him, like I say, him as my manager was awesome, because he told people how it was supposed to be. I'm trying to do the same thing myself too, and he's telling me that I'm a moron. No, dude, you were doing the same thing that I was doing a long time ago. I'm just trying to follow. Now I'm trying to lead, and you're chopping me up and saying you can't do that. That's wrong. Completely wrong. People know what I've done in the sport, and I don't want to continue with the UFC. I want to go somewhere else where they're going to respect me, and they're going to treat me like the champion that I am. I've done so much work for this sport, and so much work, and thanks to the fans that supported me throughout this time, and I've been exciting. I've talked the talk and I've walked the walk. I've never backed down from anybody. Every time I've always spoke out about money, it's all of a sudden I'm a moron, I'm a retard, I'm afraid of this guy, or I'm afraid of that guy, and I'm not afraid of no man. I've Chuck Liddell twice. I beat Vanderlei Silva. I beat Vitor Belfort. I beat some of the best at their time. And I've never turned down a fight. I've always wanted what was right for me and right for us as fighters. It's not about the company. Everywhere you look, it's about UFC, Dana White and UFC. The Ultimate Fighter, I thought it was about Forrest Griffin and Rampage, not about Dana White. All of a sudden, Dana White is doing all the interviews and this and that, and he's the middleman and saying, what is this guy doing? And when has Dana ever been a fighter? And, the bad blood thing that was on Spike TV, it just showed him wanting to be a superstar. He wanted to be at the same level that we are as fighters. Him flying around in his Learjet. I would have kicked his down. It wouldn't have been, I would have knocked his out without a doubt. But it was just a factor of me standing for what I believed in. And that just shows that he's threatened by me. He's threatened by 100% because I'm intelligent. And I'm going to speak out. I'm going to say stuff. And there's many other fighters that have been thrown underneath the bus that have tried to speak out. Look at Matt Lindland. Look at Murillo Bustamante. BJ Penn and Jens Pulver. Before they re-signed, no one knew about them. Everybody forgot about them. They used to be world champions. But everybody forgot about them because UFC put the hammer down. And they do it to time and time again, guys. They would have did a Chuck Liddell if he would have stepped up and said something. But no, Chuck Liddell's a puppet, man. And I like Chuck. I like Chuck a lot. I think he's really done the hard work for literally no money. I was the first one to say something. Now, one of the best heavyweights in the world that ever competed in the octagon is getting the same I got. I remember people, all you guys remember, man, him being on all the interviews, being a commentator. They were pressing his brand. They were pressing him and pushing him because he was saying yes. He was saying yes. And all of a sudden, he stepped back out of that box that I did a long time ago and going, these guys are collecting $25 to $30 million just in pay-per-view. We're not talking the gate that they make another 1 to 3 million. The sponsorships that they do. They just signed a huge deal with Spike TV for 3 years for $100 million. What, Dana got in the octagon and fought? Fertitta's got in the octagon and fight? No, they put their money up to fighters to make that happen for them. Now this fighter should be collecting some of that I think personally. And, you know, I thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you, Frank Fertitta, for buying the company. I appreciate everything you've ever done for me. I have nothing against you guys, but Dana White is a person that is very egotistic. He always wants to be the superstar. He's a jazzercise trainer that got an opportunity for a job because his best friend, Lorenzo Fertitta, gave him a job. And I love Lorenzo Fertitta. They're a great family. They're billionaires. Us guys that are trying to survive to scrape up to make $1 million off of people who are making 30 to 40 million off of us every time, I feel like a slave. I feel like a hooker. All of a sudden, I'm getting pimped out by these guys. Now, let's say if I wanted to sign a deal with Miller, which I'm gonna, and I wanted to be sponsored for my fight. Now, all of a sudden, they sign with Budweiser. I can't be sponsored by Miller because they're signed with Budweiser and they're collecting all the sponsorship money. Every fighter is going to have that problem. I remember I've had sponsors that wanted to pay me $100,000. Rockstar wanted to pay me $100,000 for a fight. And Dana White says no. When I'm 45 years old, I want to be retired. I don't want to have to worry about nothing, man. I want to make sure that I have a big nesting egg, that I could be a retired man. I'll open up some gyms. I'll continue my punishment line. I'll step in some other business stuff, doing movie stuff. I want to not worry about fighting anymore. I don't want to be Randy Couture at 44 years old competing. And Randy, I love you. I don't have nothing against you at all. But at that age, we shouldn't be fighting. We should have been taken care of before that we have nothing to worry about. UFC are not going to go out of their box. To them, we'll stay small and keep it all. We'll be huge and push the brand, and when fighters try to speak out, we'll smash them. Look at Andrei Arlovski, one of the former heavyweight champions who was one of the best. Why would you disrespect somebody like that? Look at Randy Couture. He's not even shown on camera. He's not even spoke of. And once we stand up and all the fighters come together and all of us, let's blackball a couple UFCs, 4 or 5 UFCs, and see what happens. If we don't show up, what happens? I've worked my for this company. And I step up to try to say, where's my raise? And they give me the shine. They say I'm a moron. They say I'm stupid. No, dude. That just shows a factor that they're afraid. They're very intimidated by me. Very intimidated by me. Because once they start paying me money, they're going to have to pay everybody else money. And I've had meetings with the UFC guys, and they said, Tito, if you kind of keep a hush-hush about things, don't say nothing. Don't try to stir everybody up. We'll give you a little more money. Just kind of hush-hush. Don't say anything. Because if you start saying something, everybody's going to start saying something. We're the ones getting in the octagon and fighting. What the man? Come on. Are you kidding me right now? Over the last 4 years, I've been looked down upon because of one man. Dana White has said so much stupid shit about me that it made me look bad to my fans. And it sucks because I should be embraced and not dismissed. I was only apprentice for 8 weeks. Never mentioned once in the UFC. You'd think they would embrace something like that to get more fans. But it's fine, because they didn't. And now the fans are going to be there either because of me, not because of the UFC, because of me.